you feeling today, and how are you feeling about tonight?
I feel great. I mean, I feel great. I had a marathon going for the last 3 days, as you know, with massive crowds and speeches and things. But I feel really good. I feel good about tonight. We'll have to see what happens, but we're getting very good numbers coming out, and we'll see. I mean, who knows? But I think we're going to do very well.
We were just listening to Carl Cameron talk about the lawsuit that you have brought up in Nevada. Do you have any comment to make about that?
No, the people brought it up. I mean, I have great representatives in Nevada and, really a lot of other places, and they felt it was a pretty bad situation out there. You have Harry Reid. He's a guy who is, he plays pretty loose, let's face it. You know how he deals, probably better than I know. And they brought a lawsuit, and it sounded like a good one to me, so I let them bring it. We have to keep the system honest. We have a very, very serious situation with the whole process. And, I've been talking about the rigged system for a long time, Martha, and in many ways it really is a rigged system. And you see that with Hillary Clinton, how she gets off from deleting 33,000 emails, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to go to the judges when we have to.
You said when you were in the debate that was moderated by Chris Wallace, I'll leave you in suspense in terms of whether or not you would accept the decision that is made tonight by the voters. Is that what you will do? Will you accept that decision tonight? Or from everything you're saying right now, it makes me wonder.
Today. Yeah, Martha, we're going to see how things play out today. And hopefully they'll play out well, and hopefully we won't have to worry about it, meaning hopefully we'll win. But we're going to see how they play out, and I want to see everything honest. If you look at Philadelphia, if you look at St. Louis, if you look at Chicago, President Obama 8 years ago was quoted as saying essentially that it's corrupt as can be, the polling booths at Chicago. I mean, that's what he said. And you have the tape because I actually saw it on Fox. But we have to see how it is, and hopefully everything's going to be on the straighten up.
I mean, how do you feel about the peaceful transition of power that America prides itself on? I mean, how important is it to you that people be able to heal and move on after what's been a decidedly divisive election process, Mr. Trump?
Well, I do love it. I love it. I think it's important. I think it's very powerful. I also think that when you see what's going on with Hillary and the FBI and the Department of Justice, when Bill Clinton goes on an airplane with the Attorney General of the United States just prior to her making a decision, which is unheard of. This is unheard of. When the United States Congress sends a subpoena to look at emails and look at other material, and they're all deleted, and nothing happens, and yet they put a four-star general in jail, or they probably will put him in jail for as much as 5 years when General Petraeus' life is destroyed. You say this is a system that is broken. It's broken.
So what happens, I'm going to ask you about each scenario. If you win tonight, how will you move forward to heal the rift that many people believe exists in this country?
Well, that I believe exists. You and I have spoken about it. And, we have a very divided country. We're divided in many different ways, but we are certainly a divided country.
So what would you do to bring it together? What move would you make?
You've got to be, first of all, we need jobs. We have to bring our jobs back because our jobs are being stolen like never before. You look at the number of factories and plants that are closed around the United States over the last 15 years. It's unbelievable to look at it. And the thousands and actually millions and millions of jobs that are missing. I mean, they're just missing. They were stolen. And it's a terrible situation. I think it's one of the reasons that, I made it through 17 people, and I'm doing obviously pretty well right now because we're essentially pretty close to being tied, I guess. And right. I can tell you from the results that are being out in the polling booths today, as you have already stated, I think we're doing pretty well, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close in many of these battleground states, which is what it's going to come down to. So, it's clear that if you win, you want to get to work on jobs. That would be your first priority, and it sounds like you believe that that's the way to heal the country.
Sure, but we have many things. We have to repeal and replace Obamacare. Martha, nobody knows how serious the disaster of Obamacare is. It's destroying families. It's destroying businesses. You have businesses that can't function anymore. They're going out of business. The health care is, first of all, it's horrible health care. It's terrible. It doesn't even work. Deductibles as high as $17,000. It doesn't even work. But on top of that, people have to pay so much for it. So you're buying something that you're never going to be able to use. And Obamacare is killing our country. It's really hurting our country badly.
I think it's clear that, people finding out what those premiums are going to cost definitely drew attention to your campaign. But before I run out of time, I want to ask you this. If you do lose tonight, what's your next move?
Well, I'm going to have to see under what circumstances. I mean, honestly, look, I want everything to be really, really smooth and really, really good. I understand the importance of that. I was very good in history. And frankly, I fully understand it's very important in so many different ways. But, I've been using the word, and long before Bernie Sanders ever used it, I guess they all got it from me. I was talking about his situation. I was talking about other situations. It's largely a rigged system. And you see it at the polling booths, too. Are you saying that you believe this will not be over tonight, Mr. Trump? No, I'm not saying that. I say I have to look at, what's happening. I have to look at reports that are coming out. There are reports that when people vote for Republicans, the entire ticket switches over to Democrats. You've seen that. It's happening at various places today. It's been reported. In other words, the machines, you put down a Republican and it registers as a Democrat, and they've had a lot of complaints about that today. We have to be careful. We have to see what it is. I must tell you, there's something really nice about the old paper ballot system. Maybe it takes a lot longer, but there's something awfully nice about the old system. You don't worry about hacking. You don't worry about all of the problems that you're seeing. But it's old and it's time-consuming. It takes a long time, but it's in many respects, it's a lot better, Martha.
You've said that if you lose, it would be a tremendous waste of time and a lot of your money. What would be your message to all of those millions of people who have come out in support of you? What would you say to those who you've called the forgotten man and forgotten woman? Yeah, they are the forgotten men and women, and I think it would be very disappointing to those women and those men and those families, because they're tremendous families. They built the country to a large extent. These are people that built the country. I have to jump in and thank you very much, and best of luck to you and to Hillary Clinton tonight. We'll be right back.
Team from media. We got a sneak peek inside the room where they're crunching the numbers and keeping an eye on the legal issues as well. Jason Miller is here with us. How are you feeling going into this final day?
We're feeling good. So here you're inside the war room, the campaign's war room, where we're tracking the media 24/7. We have our TVs, we have people tracking social media and the computers, and then one level below us is where we have our data center. We're tracking the precinct by precinct returns all around the country. We're feeling good. We're seeing good things in North Carolina and in Michigan and in Florida this morning, tracking everything. It's early. Everyone, they're long lines, short lines, rain, no rain. We're watching everything.
And listen, people are obviously working very hard. They're very quiet for us while we're in here right now, but they are working really hard to keep an eye on things. You've been at this for well over a year at this point. You come down to this final decision today. I understand Mr. Trump was here earlier and kind of rallying the troops. How is everybody feeling going into that final stretch?
I think inspired, energetic. I think we're feeling good about tonight. When Mr. Trump came through a little bit ago, everyone greeted him with a standing applause right after he had voted. I feel like we're really at the verge of something historic here.
Okay. Now, we did get a look at the numbers crunchers, the legal teams, but I got to show people, we should show them something else here. This is what's powering the team. Check out these. We're trying to think of another name for them besides donuts, because these things are like a meal. They've got things inside. There are multiple layers to them. How important is the sugar and the carb?
It's important, and I really like that one, and then that one and that one. Were really good also.
Oh, and by the way, if you'll look behind us, you can see Sean Spicer is here from the RNC. Wave, Sean, as they coordinate. And we don't know how many donuts he's had. I'm not going to attribute any donuts to him, but he is here as the team works together with the party. And by the way, we're going to go over to Hillary Clinton's headquarters as well and give you an inside look there. In the meantime, wishing everyone the best as you work hard and the teams on both sides have a big fight. And we find out tonight what the American people think. Thanks, Jason.
We're feeling good. Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, Shannon Bream, a live look inside Donald Trump's war room on Election Day with some tasty treats. Much needed, I'm sure. Shannon, thank you. Well, it was a race filled with controversies and October surprises, that's for sure. So as Americans head to the polls today, will any of those scandals stick to the candidates? And which ones had the biggest impact? Plus, a lot more is at stake in this election than just the presidency, control of Congress. Also hanging in the balance, we'll take a look at the down ballot